got him. Little smallmouth right there. Come on, baby. When all else fails, you just go to the little drop shot there. Works all over. Come on, you're just a little guy. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Look how I'm pulling you in, buddy. Not a huge smallmouth, but look at that. Caught him on that little talking stick in that shad color. Kind of like a minnow color, more like a smoke sparkle. That was always been one of my favorite colors. Look at his back. Yeah, he had something happen to him, but he's getting around, I guess. Today, folks, we're at Fool's Hollow Lake, and we're up here in the beautiful White Mountains. You know when it gets real hot down in the Phoenix area and down there in the lower lakes and things like that. I'm up here, and you almost have to wear a long sleeve shirt early in the morning, you know, and at best during the day it gets maybe on a hot day 90 degrees, but I'll tell you, it's so beautiful up here in June. And these fish up here are doing all kinds of different things. We got fish that are in the post spawn, we got fish that are still in the spawn, and it can make for a lot of fun fishing. But it's a small area. You know, these lakes up here are a lot smaller and they get pressured a lot. So one of my all-time go-tos up here has been a drop shot. You know, if I can drop shot an area where there's not a lot of weeds, I'm gonna do that. If, you know, and these lakes up here are really clear, so you can see the rocks and things that you're throwing at to try to catch these fish. These big boulders, that's what I did. As I threw way up in front of me, threw at a boulder, it fell down and I caught the fish. Something really small, you know, and there's a lot of fry fish. You know, what I mean by fry fish is the bass that have already spawned out. You got the little fry and you got the fry garters and things like that that are out here watching, and they don't want nothing in the area and they'll hit it too. So you can get by with a lot of different baits this time of year. I like to start off a lot of times with top water. If we can't get the top water going, then we get a little breeze going like this, you can go with a spinner bait, or, you know, a lot of times I might just go looking to see if I can find some more bed fish and try to hone in on my craft a little bit, stuff I love to do. But can you believe you can catch bedfish in June, you know, and it's awesome. You know, we saw a few already today. Maybe we'll go try to catch them. We'll see how bad the wind will be too. It's supposed to get up to 10 miles an hour today. But good old drop shot rig, you know, the little spinning outfit, of course, with a little bit of braid and a 6 pound. I'm using a 6 pound fluorocarbon leader with this. Of course, I use the Albright knot and a 1/4 ounce drop shot weight. And you can see how long my leader is from my worm. That's about what I like when I'm fishing the shallower water, like what I'm fishing. I'll go to a longer leader when I'm in deep water, but right now in the shallower stuff and they're still on the beds, I'll go with that little bit short leader. And of course I'm using the Elite Series Taipan rod, and it's for my drop shot rod. I love it. It's a medium light, you know. This rod's been awesome. Won a lot of money on it. It's a great rod. So all graphite. But we're gonna go around Fool's Hollow Lake today, a place where I kind of grew up. I still do little tournaments. I still fish my bass club because it's a lot of fun that we have here in the White Mountains. And a lot of people are like, you got bass up there? And we're like, yeah, we got bass up here. I think the bass fishing used to be a lot better. It's kind of declined over the years. And it's not from, I don't think it's from nearly the pressure as it is just the management and us being able to, you know, try to teach people up here to catch and release. A lot of people catch fish and take them. So, you know, these are trout lakes up here, and Game and Fish will stock the trout. But when it comes to the bass, if we want them around, you know, we got to try to help our cause here a little bit and do a lot of catching and releasing up here. So, but it's a lot of fun and get you out of the heat. You can have a lot of fun up here in the beautiful White Mountains. And I'll tell you what, it's so beautiful up here right now. You gotta get up here if you've never been up here. We're gonna go around today, see if we can't find a few fish, throw the drop shot around a little bit, let's see what it takes to catch us a few fish on this lake. And maybe we can help you when you come up here and try to catch some fish. Oh, got him. Yep, he did hit it. Oh, a nice little largemouth right there. He hit that bait, that talking stick. Come on, baby. I got that light line on there. We'll just play them out. When you get them out here a little bit deeper, you know, you can play them out. You know what's so funny is we've already been through this area and I saw some fish roaming around and I wanted to come back. Oh, gotcha. Ah. Beautiful bass. Look at that. Just a beautiful, that's a good little over 2 pounds right there. Nice fish. Yeah, beautiful fish right there. All right, buddy, see you later. We came through here originally and it was calmer through here and I could see fish. And you know, like I said, if you got a good pair of polarized sunglasses, you can see the rocks, the big boulders. Fool's Hollow is noted for having these rocks and these big boulders here. And I'll tell you what, the bass will hang out in those areas. And that's what I did was I threw up there by that big boulder and there he was. That was a lot of fun. There's a few more in there, believe it or not. Sometimes sight fishing is just seeing the fish when you go by and turning around, coming back later and hitting the spot. Because, you know, we kind of spooked them when we went over them last time. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I kind of threw up there knowing that I didn't want them to see me, especially with this yellow shirt on, you know. So you're trying to do everything you can to give you the advantage over the fish. And that did it for me right there. So I guess the ticket for this is anytime you go to an area, there's another one. There's what I'm talking about. You know, we saw a few more up there and they're eating that talking stick up because it looks like a little tiny minnow, like a fry or something. And they'll eat on those. They don't want nothing around the area. Come on, buddy. Yeah, he ain't as big as the other one. But, boy, I was rudely interrupted. Look at that fish. It pays when you're in a little bit shallower water to shorten up your leader a little bit. You know, we're catching these fish out of three foot of water, you know. Without a doubt, it pays to, and I got 2 fish off that, by the way. Or, yeah, 2 or 3 fish off that. So I'll go change it up. But cactus wren makes a great bait right there. That talking stick's a lot of fun. It's a do-nothing bait, I can't believe it. But it looks like a little minnow. You know, they just hatched fry and all that, and it's got the little sparklies in it. I can tell you this, one of my favorite baits when I was younger on these lakes was a smoke sparkle lizard. And I'd throw it weightless, and I caught a lot of fish. I've won a lot of tournaments and placed in a lot of little bass club tournaments up here on just that bait alone. And I've kind of gotten away from it over the years, you know, and well, one of the reasons because they quit making it, but you could probably find it in a different, you know, in a different type of lizard, but, and newer techniques have taken over. So, you know, but this is what it kind of reminds me of is with this drop shot. I'm having a lot of fun with that. But all I'm doing is just going back down where I saw those fish and let them rest and go back down through there and throw out in front of you and catch them. But you gotta have a good pair of polarized sunglasses, and let me tell you something else that's really important. Even if you're night fishing, down below, you like to night fish those lower lakes, very important to get yourself a clear pair of glasses to wear for eye protection in case, you know, a lure comes back and you don't want it hitting you in the eye. So it's very important to always have eye protection when you're fishing, I think. So I think it'll save you a lot of grief. And it only takes one mistake, you know, so, all right. You know, I get asked a lot up here on, especially up here on the mountain lakes, if my chip in my graph works for this lake, and it doesn't. You know, they didn't come up here and graph these lakes, so you're kind of old-fashioned styling it when you come to these lakes up here. You could still use your graph, it works good. You know, when you're in shallow water, it's nice to know what the water temperature is, and we're dealing with a 73-degree water temp today. But in saying that, you know, you can come up here and still use your graph, but you're doing it the old-fashioned style to see the contour of the bottom because the map doesn't work. That's one of the reasons I just go ahead and throw the graph all the way across. I don't even use the map because they didn't do anything like that on these smaller lakes. So just throwing that out there for you, so don't think that there's a chip up here for you, a White Mountain chip or something. They ought to make one though. Got him, we got him that time. You thought you was gonna do it, didn't you? You thought you was gonna do it. A few more redfish left. Come on, baby. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, your lip is all mangled. Ah, look at that. You don't think that fish worked on that rock hard? Holy cow. And he ate that crawl. He finally got tired of that thing going in there. He's not a giant fish, but definitely a nice little male. You know, that's the really cool thing about living here in the White Mountains is that I get to fish all over the place, but it's not only just beautiful here on Fool's Hollow Lake, but there's still a few fish spawning, and that's awesome. You know, I caught that fish with a Thule shaker head from Cactus Wren again, and this is a little rage craw, and I went to the littler one because the bigger one, sometimes the big one's awesome, and the bigger fish love that, and it's intimidating and they bite it, but for some reason, I had to drop down in size, so I could still use my white and go with that little Cajun craw, or that little, rage craw. But I'll tell you, this is a nice little outfit right here. And I love the J hook on this Thule shaker head from Cactus Wren. They make great jig heads. It's got a little J hook, and it's an awesome hook. You can see it's got the little corkscrew there. And then what's really cool about using this is it's got a flat bottom, so it just sticks straight up like that, and the craws, pinchers, go straight out. I'll tell you what, it works out great. I don't normally have braid on this particular rod and reel for this technique. You can do that. You obviously can do that, but this is just straight fluorocarbon line. And what really makes this fun to throw is you got to remember that our fish up here are highly pressured. So when you get to a spot where you can actually sit, thank goodness for power poles, because without power poles, it's hard to do this kind of fishing. A little bit of breeze goes a long ways. But what ends up happening is I can actually sit there and see where the fish is at, and instead of me trying to whip a cast out or constantly grabbing my line to flip it out or whatever, I love the spinning outfit because all I have to do is I could just sit there right there and let the bait swing and kind of throw it out there like so, and engage the reel with your hand. You're not doing a whole lot of moving. And not doing a whole lot of moving when these fish are highly pressured is really the key, because the fish here are really shallow. But that's the ticket for this lake, is you can take minnow baits, you can take drop shots, you can take top water. We threw a little top water today. You know I love my Ricos, and there's a certain time of year they really start pounding those Ricos. I thought it was about now, but you know, you'll get a bite here and there, but you've only got probably about another week and a half when it really starts getting hot up here for us. And those smallies and largemouth will just blast those Ricos early in the morning. It's a lot of fun. So, and you got a chance of catching a big fish in this lake. You know, Fool's Hollow Lakes, you know, I think our last little bass club tournament, there was a 6.5 pound largemouth caught, and we've seen 8s. So there's some big fish here. I've seen a lot of them swim around this time of year, bedding and everything. Hey folks, for my tip of the week, one thing that's really important, especially when you're fishing clear water and you have a lake like this that's got a lot of boulders in it, and you can see, just looking across here, all the boulders, well, that's what's in the water. But when you go across and you see a boulder that's fanned out on top, if you see a rock that's fanned out on top and it's cleaned, a lot of times that's probably where those fish are bedding. Make sure you throw up around the area. You might be surprised and catch that big fish. You know, one thing really nice about fishing here in the White Mountains, we have so many lakes, probably 8 or 9 lakes in the vicinity of Show Low Pinetop Lakeside. And you're all around any kind of restaurants or lodging or anything like that. You're real close. But one of the best parts about the fishing here is if you go to a lake and the fish just aren't biting, you know, you could pop up, go to lunch 5 minutes away, and then go hit another lake. You could actually hit 2 or 3 lakes in one day up here in the beautiful White Mountains. And I'll tell you what, you're bound to find that one lake that's hitting, because one's usually doing pretty good over the other. And as far as bass goes, you know, all our lakes in this vicinity around Show Low, Pinetop Lakeside have bass in them. So definitely give those a shot too. Oh, I got one. I got a smallmouth. Ah. Little drop shot bass. Did I mention there's smallmouth in this lake? He's just a little guy, but he's fun. Oh my goodness. You know, a lot of times if you throw right out there and you get in the channel between the weeds and the rocks, you can get out there and throw right in front of you with your drop shot in real shallow water like that, you know, 3-4 foot, and catch fish just roaming. And that's basically what we did there. They are so beautiful here and chunky, and they're healthy, you know, beautiful fish. Not a big one, but still. I mean, the thing is, we're just kind of going down the bank and looking and searching and seeing what's going on. And I decided to pull out the other talking stick that I had, which was a real light purple one here. That's a clear, almost pink. And for some reason, the smallmouth in this lake love that color. So that's an awesome color. A little red flake goes a long ways. I tell you, that's a great bait right there. You know, you don't want to use anything over about 1/4 ounce. Sometimes you can get away with even an 1/8 ounce. You're not hurting yourself doing that. The reason why I like a 1/4 ounce weight is so I can keep the weight on the bottom and just kind of bounce the worm and keep the weight on the bottom and drag it. If I get a real light weight, sometimes it's hard to do that without lifting the weight off the bottom, especially if you have a little wind or something like that and you're trying to feel the bait. So I like to get away with as heavy as I can, but I still try to stay somewhat light. Got him. I got him that time. I got him. Good old smallmouth. I knew he was playing. Trying to get that. Come on, baby. That's a good smallie. Little Fool's Hollow Lake bass. Look at that. Folks. He thought he could outsmart us. Let's see, I think I came back to that fish 3 times. Yeah, funny position, good. All right, come on, bud. Boy, you barely took it in too, didn't you? He got me all wet. All right, enough out of you. Get up here. We know you're strong. Look at that beautiful smallmouth. Look at this. Weak, barely. That's why you always keep pressure on the fish, right there. Beautiful smallmouth bass. We'll get them back real quick. That fish was on a bed. That was fun. I'll tell you what, folks, if you haven't had an opportunity to come to the beautiful White Mountains, get on up, because it's beautiful, it's cool, it's a lot of fun. You may not like the winters. I don't particularly care for the winters too much, but I'll tell you what, growing up here, I've had a lot of fun on these lakes. And remember that you need to put them back. I'll tell you what, you'll be able to come up here and have a lot of fun. I know our bass club works hard on making sure we put all our fish back. So we have a lot of fun the next time we get to come out and bring the kids out or whatever. But had a great day on Fool's Hollow Lake. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again next week. I'm Johnny Johnson. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.